In my opinion, we should actually be very careful how we write these types of letters, because we know we want to take advantage of the potential that we have by using mail merge, but we don't want it to seem like a mail merge. Nobody likes to get a letter that was kicked out by a computer. So wording things exactly the right way may give you some opportunities to create this so it doesn't appear like a mail merge letter. Sometimes Word does a pretty good job of that. For example, customizing our line so that if we don't have a name, it doesn't say dear space comma and it's obvious that something was left out, but giving us alternatives. The problem is the world isn't always black and white, and the same is true when we work with data. What we can do, though, is we can use one of MailMerge's tools that they added a couple of versions ago that I think is just phenomenal. From our ribbon, in our Mailings tab, we see the Rules option about halfway over. We can ask things, we can fill in things, we can even use if-then-else statements. In other words, if there's a phone number, put in the phone number, else put in something that asks them to give us their phone number. It gives us options. I just wanted to show you an example of this, so we're going to go ahead and use the one called Fill In. We are going to be using this basic letter to do a lot of different things that we're going to be mailing out from You Got It. It could be not only the business plan, but it could be a variety of other things, including course schedules, things for customers and vendors. So we have an area in the document that says, we're happy to provide a document for you, but we don't want to put in a document. We want to make that custom. So we're going to type in a prompt, and every time this mail merge is run, the person running it gets to put in what's appropriate. For example, we could type, enter the name of the document that will accompany this letter. You need to be careful because there's no spell check here, so make sure you look at it a couple of times because this is the prompt that everybody's going to see. You can also put default fill-in text. Let's go ahead and just put in, for our purposes, class schedule so that we can replace it with business plan. You may or may not have something that's appropriate for default fill-in text, but this is all we have to do. Now we say OK. Here's our prompt. Enter the name of the document that will accompany this letter, and I'm just going to move this up out of the way so we can see where it's going to go. The first line of our letter says, You Got It Training is pleased to provide for your review the, and this is where that prompt is going to go. The class schedule, or in this case, it's going to be the 2011 business plan. That's all there is to it. We say OK. And what you see is one of the things I wanted to show you, which is you have to be careful where your cursor is. We had left our cursor down before our relationship field, and that's not where we wanted this to go. So we could either click Undo, or we could select the field, and we can cut and paste. We'll erase the placeholder text that I had, and we'll paste in our field instead. And now everything looks good. This is just a very simple example of how we can use some of the options that rules provide for us to take mail merge to an all-new level. It's not just a matter of putting in first names, last names, phone numbers, and addresses. We can actually get very elegant and multi-purpose our documents by simply ensuring that we configure it the correct way so that it always works and that it always gives us the options that we need to have.